So E3 just happened. No wait, it's not E3 is it? E3's dead. What are we calling it now? Key 3? Not E3? Summer of Gaming? Summer Games Fest? Ah right, okay, nobody knows do they? Bloody hell. Anyway, it's an exciting time of year regardless. Loads of new games to see, and it's something I personally always look forward to. I watch the majority of the shows, and I thought this year, I'm having a crack at making videos and that, so why not? I'll put together a list showing off games I thought looked cool and interesting. Right then, let's get into it. First up was the Guerilla Collective. This has been a fairly decent show the last few years it's been on, with a good variety of games getting shown. This year there wasn't too much for me personally, but there was still a couple that I like the look of. The first being this game called Leximan. Straight away this gave me big Undertale vibes, so I was really into this. It looks like using words to interact with the world and in battles, and it also looks pretty funny too. It's got a demo but I've not yet checked it out, and there's currently no release date for this one. And then the other game was this one called Europa, which looks like a chill exploration and puzzle game, which also has a really cool art style. You run, glide and fly across the land to solve the mysteries of a ruined civilization. There's no demo for it and it's got a release date of sometime this year.
This thing to last. Come to the island if you ever get lonely. Come here and think of me.
Moving on to the next show, which was Summer Games Fest. Proper Key 3 this one actually. Jeff's show was alright. I get it's still in its infancy, but something felt a bit off about it to me. I don't know exactly what that was though. Still, some good stuff was shown, so let's have a look. First up is this one called Lysfanga, and it's a hack and slash game with a sort of time travel tactical twist on it. You start with one version of yourself and then you add another and then another until you have a whole army fighting together, which is pretty cool. There's no demo or release date for this one currently.
I will become Legion and crush these demons.
This one's called Under the Waves, and it's an underwater narrative driven game about grief. The premise reminds me a bit of the comic The Underwater Welder, which is a good read, I really recommend it. But back to the game, it looks cool. Piloting the submarine, being isolated and surveying the seafloor, something mysterious going on by the looks of things, all good stuff. There's no demo or release date for this one as yet.
Someone there? This doesn't make sense. Is someone else down here? No. Dan! Are you there?
Spider-Man 2 got a release date, which is the 20th of October this year. I'm really looking forward to this. The first two are great games, if a little uninspired in their open world structure, but hey, it's fun swinging around, the combat and stealth work well, and I really enjoyed the story, so I'm intrigued to see where it goes in this one. I'm a huge fan of Remedy. Max Payne 2, Control and Alan Wake are all well good, so I'm really looking forward to Alan Wake 2. Especially so as Remedy are saying that this is their first psychological horror game, and their games tend to have a load of that stuff anyway, so for them to come out and say nah, this is our first actual horror game is really quite exciting. They didn't show too much, but I'm liking what I see. The game's out on the 17th of October 2023. I do kinda wish it had a demo though.
First things first. What's your name?
And speaking of demos, Bloodborne 2, Lies of P, had a really lengthy one recently. I played a bit of it and thought it was decent. It's a respectable Souls-like in its own right and it's ticking a lot of the right boxes. I think it's this team's first game as well, which is really impressive. The game's out September 19th, 2023 and the demo is well worth checking out if you like the look of it.
Fulfill. Your destiny.
The more I see of Space Marine 2, the better it's looking. It's properly brutal and looks really satisfying to play. They've also announced that it's got co-op, which will no doubt be a load of fun. I don't really know anything about Warhammer to be honest, so not much more to say about this one, but it's certainly one to keep an eye on. It's not got a demo and there's still no date for it, but it's apparently coming out later this year.
Care to see who can slay more Xenos for the Chiron? I thought a beast of that stature
back, damn it! For Ultramar! For the Emperor!
I'm really liking the look of Banishers Ghosts of New Eden. It's an action RPG where you play as two ghost hunters, one who's dead and one who's alive. It looks like you can chat to the ghosts as well as just fighting them, which is interesting. It's being made by Don't Nod, so I'm expecting a heavy emphasis on the story and narrative choices. This one's out sometime in 2023 and there's no demo currently available.
Come out, wherever you are. Come on, show yourself.
Red.
Every bloody time.
The final announcement from Jeff fell a little flat for me. He was hyping it up like it was this big unannounced game that nobody was expecting, and then it was Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. And of course, I'm looking forward to the game, don't get me wrong, but come on now Jeff, we all know this game exists and is coming out at some point. Anyway, as with most Final Fantasy trailers, it's incoherent nonsense, but you know, it's also the second part of the Final Fantasy 7 remake, so I'm really looking forward to playing it. It's out sometime in early 2024, and no, there's no demo.
You murdered my dad! You burned my village!
You know that I killed her. So, who is she?
Next up was Day of the Devs, and this has become a show I really look forward to, as there's always great looking games in it with interesting interviews with the developers, and this year was no different. The first game shown was this one called BeastieBall, which is like a Pokemon sports game. You collect monsters, evolve them, and play this spin-on volleyball it looks like. It looks good. It's also by the devs who made Wonder Song and Chicory, so these guys know how to make a great game. It's currently running a Kickstarter, so it doesn't have a release date, but it has got a demo on Steam, though I'm yet to try it out. Hyperlight Breaker was up next, and I'm a huge fan of Heart Machine, and I really enjoyed Hyperlight Drifter and Solar Ash. Breaker looks to be a combination of these two games with its own unique thing going on. It's an open world multiplayer roguelite. These games have so much style and usually quality music too, so I'm really looking forward to this one. It will be releasing soon into early access, but there's no date just yet. So this is Viewfinder, a game that looks like it shouldn't work, but it somehow does. It gives me big Portal, Superliminal and Witness vibes. I've played the demo for this and wasn't huge on some of the voiceover work. It took me out of it a little bit, but regardless, the concept of the game is wild and it feels like magic when you play it. It looks like the demo isn't up anymore, but the game launches on July the 18th, so not long to wait. This one's called Hauntii, and the premise is you're a ghost and you're able to haunt objects and characters to take control of them and gain new abilities. It's got a great art style and the music sounded fantastic. I'm really looking forward to this one. Unfortunately, there's no demo or launch date for it right now. So Cocoon is a game by the lead gameplay designer from Inside and Limbo. This game has an incredible looking mechanic where you're able to jump in and out of worlds and carry those worlds on your back in and out of each other to help solve puzzles and challenges. It's pretty mind boggling, but I absolutely love the look of it. No launch date for this one just yet, but it's defo one to keep an eye on. In Été, which means summer in French, and I probably butchered that pronunciation, you play as a painter and you go about colouring in the world. It gave me big Unfinished Swan vibes. What I liked about it is as you go around and colour stuff in, you're then able to use each object you filled in to then put into actual paintings, which is such a cool idea. There's no release date for this one yet and no demo. What if someone made Death Stranding but set it on Mars, removed the Kojima nonsense and instead had you making any vehicle you could think of in order to transport different shaped cargo about? That's Mars first logistics in a nutshell, and its quality. I played the demo for this a while back, but it's not available anymore unfortunately. The game is launching into early access on the 22nd of June though, so there's not too long to wait. And that was a joke about Kojima's nonsense by the way. I love Death Stranding just the way it is, even though it's got an absolutely batshit insane story. The last game that interested me from the day of the devs was this one called Summerhill. It's an adventure puzzle game about shepherding of all things, but like, I'm down. There's not many games that have this as the premise, is there? It will apparently lean into the historical impact and significance of shepherding and how important it is. Really cool stuff. It also has an amazing art style and soundtrack going off this trailer. As of right now, there's no release date or demo for it, which is a shame. I'd really like to give it a shot. Moving on to the next showcase, which was Devolver's, and as always, this was a laugh once again. They've really got this whole piss take format down, and it's a really enjoyable watch. This year was a bit light on games though, with only a few being shown. Baby steps is ridiculous. You've got to try and get this guy to walk, and you control each leg independently, similar to games like QWOP or Getting Over It, and it's actually got the developer of that game working on it, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is crushingly difficult as well. It looks a laugh though at least. No demo for this one, and it's out in 2024. Wizard with a Gun continues to look pretty good. It's an online cooperative sandbox survival game and it reminded me of something like Don't Starve visually. It's got a demo out and it launches later in 2023. The Tribeca Game Spotlight is another showcase I really look forward to. It highlights games that have a focus on narrative and there's always interesting looking stuff shown. This next game is another one that I'm really looking forward to, so I'm going to let the whole trailer play first.
I must have climbed the hill behind the house 100 times. I know every stone. But after that hill, there's another. And then another again. And after all that, then that's the sea. And I've never been there.
Yeah, this just looks wonderful to me. It's a game about hiking and exploring the Scottish Highlands, and it's got climbing and platforming gameplay along with rhythm action mechanics. It's by Inkle, who are a brilliant indie developer who've made a load of great stuff. If you've never heard of Overboard, I highly recommend picking it up. It's cheap and it's class. No demo or solid release date for this one, but it's apparently coming soon. I can't wait to play it. This one's called Despelote. I've probably butchered the pronunciation of that as well, but this is a slice of life adventure game about childhood and football set in Ecuador in 2001. I'm not really into football, but I am interested in a game like this which is exploring the culture of the game. I've never really seen anything like it, so I'm intrigued. There's no release date for this yet and there's no demo. The Wholesome Direct always has lots of games on show. A large portion of them do tend to be more farming and lifestyle types of games, which I'm not really into, but there are usually a few other things in there that stand out to me. The first one that did was this game called Station to Station. This is a minimalist voxel based railroad building simulator. It's got a really chill vibe to me, this one. There's a demo out for it and it's coming out later in 2023. The other game from this show was this one called KarmaZoo, and it's a Strand-like game, the second of its kind after Death Stranding. No. But it is a game about making connections with random players online and using a variety of character abilities together in order to progress forward. Again, I've not really seen anything like this one. It looks really interesting. However, there's currently no demo or launch date for it.
As they bask in their natural glory. KarmaZoo, a game for you.
Another showcase that only seems to get better year on year is the Future Games show. There's always loads of great looking stuff in this, and this year's was no exception. On Garde reminded me of Sifu a little bit, but with fencing instead of martial arts. I really like the tone of this one. It looks to be light-hearted, good fun, and the combat looked great. There's a demo out for it, and it launches in August 2023.
Come on, amigo. Try to fight me at least.
This is an ambush, Volador!
On guard.
Alright, so I think this next one looks absolutely class, so let's check out the trailer. Laika Age Through Blood is a Western inspired Motorvania, which is such a cool concept for a game, and the style of this thing looks insanely good. I like this trailer a lot and it really took me by surprise. I can't wait to give it a shot. Unfortunately, there's neither no demo or launch window for this one, but I'm hoping it's not too far away.
The days have turned to night.
Pacific Drive is one I've had my eye on for a while now. It's a driving survival adventure game where you upgrade your car in order to explore a dangerous exclusion zone which has loads of crazy looking environmental hazards to avoid and deal with. It's a great premise for a game and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on it. There's no demo for this one and it's out sometime this year.
For any injuries or death suffered as a result. That's it for today's training. Happy trails and good luck.
This next one is another game that deserves its full trailer being shown, so let's have a look.
I'm going to tell you a story about 3 extraordinary spirits united to face the darkness.
Yeah, Spirit of the Samurai is another one that came out of nowhere and makes a hell of a first impression. The stop motion style used in this game looks ridiculously good. It's a 2D action adventure game where you fight an army of undead warriors and Japanese monsters from the perspective of 3 different characters. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of this one. There's currently no demo or launch date for it.
3 incredible warriors defying fate and even death. I, Kitsune, Spirit of the Forest, was a witness and a part of it.
Future Play had a pretty decent showing this year, with a couple of games that caught my eye. I liked the look of this one that's called Demon Spore. It's a top-down roguelike where you try to escape from a facility that's being overrun by this organism. It grows across the stage and can get out of hand if you're not careful. It looks pretty intense. No demo or launch date for this currently. The other one from this show was Rune Fencer Illyia. It reminded me a bit of Hollow Knight and similar Metroidvanias like that. This is being made by two guys and they've been working on it for around 5 years. A lot of this stuff looks really high quality, so it's impressive what they've been able to create. There's currently no release date or demo for it, however. This was the big one. The Xbox Game Showcase was great this year. They had a load of brilliant looking games with something for everyone really. Fable opened the show and it was cool to see Richard Ayoade in it as a giant no less. A big part of what makes Fable is its British humour and it looks as though they'll be continuing that tradition in this reboot. I don't know if this was gameplay, but it looked very nice. Playground Games have been making some stunning racing games with the Forza Horizon series, so I wouldn't be surprised if it does end up looking this good to be honest. Either way, it's cool to see Fable back. It feels like it's been a long time coming. No demo or launch date for this one, so expect it early 2027. That's a joke. Hopefully it's sooner.
Oh,
33 Immortals is by the devs who made Spiritfarer, which was a lovely game, so I'm up for more stuff from them. This one has full 33 player co-op, which is kinda nuts, and the gameplay looks to be a top-down action RPG type of thing. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. There's no demo for it and it's currently got a release date of sometime in 2024. Yes, Flight Sim. What a thing Flight Sim is, bloody hell. And this is a straight up new game, which is kinda crazy. I wasn't expecting another one so soon. I just thought they'd update the recent one for years, but I guess not. All these new activities and jobs look brilliant, and I'm well down for some air rescue and that. No demo or release date, but since it's called Flight Sim 2024, I'm going to go out on a limb and presume it's out next year. Next up, we've got another game that I think deserves the full trailer treatment, so here we go. Jusant is another game that took me by surprise, and for a split second I actually thought this might be Fumito Ueda's next game. For the few who don't know who that is, he's the game director of Ico, Shadow of the Colossus and The Last Guardian, some of the greatest games ever made. But nah, this ain't his next game. But seriously though, where is that game? That's what I want to know. Anyway, this is being made by Don't Nod, and to be fair, that's also great news to me as I enjoy a lot of their work, and this game looks exactly like my type of thing. There's a demo out for it that I really need to get around to trying, and there's currently no release date for it. Go Mecha Ball is an action roguelike that uses pinball mechanics. It looks like Marble Blast, but you've also got guns, which is quite a crazy combination. It's by a veteran team of indie developers, and I think the movement looks a lot of fun. There's no demo for this one, and there's no launch date currently either. Still Wakes the Deep is the next game from the Chinese room. I really enjoyed Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, a game that had an absolutely gorgeous soundtrack. So if anything, I'm excited for more of that from this team. Hopefully Jessica Curry is doing the music. This looks to be a horror game set on an oil rig, and yeah, sign me up for that. There's currently no demo or release date for this one. Towerborn is the next game from the devs who made the Banner Saga series. I've never checked those games out, but I hear nothing but amazing things about them. This looks like a good co-op adventure game, nice art style and great looking combat. I'm intrigued by this one and it could end up being very good. There's currently no demo or release date for it.
Together, you can save humanity.
Clockwork Revolution looks straight up Bioshock. I love the time travel aspect of affecting the past to change the future, and if they manage to pull that sort of thing off and it affects the game world and its characters in meaningful ways, this could be very good indeed. It's also a full-on stats-based RPG too, which makes all this even more exciting. There's no demo or release date for it currently.
Oh no. What did I do?
Any last words before my friend puts one in your scalp?
Alright, so I guess I'll have to include Starfield in this as it got the biggest showing of all the games. Bethesda put on a 45-minute showcase for it, and I think what they showed actually looked pretty great to be fair. I'm skeptical about this game, as most people naturally are, and for good reason with Bethesda's track record, but if they can actually deliver on what they showed and it's not a broken buggy mess at launch, it's got potential. The showcase did a good job of showing it off, so I'm cautiously optimistic about it for now, but yeah, one that could go either way at this point, and I'm very intrigued as to how it's going to turn out. All eyes on Bethesda, I guess.
We are not stopping. Whatever lies at the end of this road will change humanity forever. This is where we belong.
Next up, we've got the PC Gaming Show, and this is another one that tends to have a load of great new game announcements. Nivalis is a cyberpunk open world adventure game with immersive sim elements. You get to run businesses such as nightclubs and restaurants, go fishing, and also avoid getting into trouble with gangs and the police. It looks pretty decent. There's no demo for this one and it's out in 2024.
What's up there? Well, if you dream big enough, maybe you'll find out. Maybe we all will. Welcome to Nivalis.
Sulphur looks weird, like really weird, but I also want to play it. It's apparently a modern old school action adventure that combines FPS and RPG mechanics. I really like the look of it, but it's also got this odd, bizarre atmosphere about it. It's not got a demo or a release date as yet, but I'm very intrigued. This next one was a really nice surprise. Have you played Citizen Sleeper? If not, go and do that. It's cheap, about 8 to 10 hours long, and it's bloody brilliant. And now here's Citizen Sleeper 2. I wasn't expecting a sequel to be announced so soon, when the first one came out like last year or something. Happy for more though, because this game's world and writing is genuinely some of the best stuff I've seen in a game. It's like a minimalist Disco Elysium type of thing. There's no demo and no launch date currently. Hopefully it's here sooner rather than later.
This is just the beginning, Sleeper.
So I played the demo for the Invincible in my Ludo Narracon video, and it's looking good. It's a really atmospheric sci-fi walking sim, which looks to have a heavy emphasis on the narrative. I'm really intrigued and the demo left me wanting more, so I'll definitely be checking this one out when it releases. Its demo's still up and it's got a release date of sometime this year, but there's no concrete date yet. So this one's called Exo Rally Championship, and it's by one of the guys who made Exo 1, which was a super weird, chill, marble blast spaceship game thing. But yeah, it was an experience, that game, and it's great to see them back with another cool looking one like this. This time driving across alien landscapes, and it's all physics driven. It looks like a lot of fun. There's no demo or release date for this one yet. I didn't watch the Final Fantasy 16 pre-launch celebration because I don't need to see any more of the game. The trailers they've released for it already made it look great to me. However, they did announce a demo at the event, and I'd really recommend playing it because it's quality and gives a hell of a first impression. I was looking forward to the game anyway, but the demo completely sold me on it. It's well worth giving a shot. A cool thing about it is that it's the opening 2 hours of the game, and you can then carry on from this save file if you pick up the full game, which is a nice feature. I wasn't really looking forward to Ubisoft Forward. They don't really put out anything that interests me that much anymore, but I still checked it out and saw something that looked pretty good. Also, fair play to them for keeping the E3 cringe alive with their old school press conference style setup and the obligatory Just Dance routine. Oh, and not forgetting this guy.
Or one of my fanfiction shorts on YouTube.
The new Prince of Persia game looks much different to what I expected. It gave me Metroid Dread vibes in a way, a nice flashy looking 2.5D side scroller. It could be decent though this, so I'm looking forward to seeing more of it over the next few months. There's no demo for it and it's launching on the 18th of January 2024.
In these times of darkness, hope is the only thing that keeps us fighting. I will fulfill my destiny and save the kingdom.
The Capcom showcase felt a little bit pointless as it didn't really show that much new stuff, but it's kinda whatever really. They're pumping out bangers only at the moment, so I suppose it makes sense to put all of their recent announcements together in one official show. Resident Evil 4 is a game that maybe didn't need a remake. I only played it recently in 2021 on the Switch. I couldn't handle horror back in 2005, alright. What a game it was, I was super impressed by it. It holds up very well. So I was really looking forward to the remake, and yeah, what an amazing game that is as well. I'm also really into VR, and I've been playing Resident Evil 8 on it, and that's a hell of an experience. So absolutely sign me up for a VR version of the RE4 remake. It should be quality. There's no release date for this one yet, but I'm really looking forward to trying it out when it releases. Originally a Nintendo DS game, Ghost Trick is a really clever puzzle game with brilliant music and an intriguing story. If you've never played this one, it's got a demo out that you should definitely consider giving a go because it's a game that sells itself after you've played it for about 5 minutes. It's out on the 30th of June 2023. The original Dragon's Dogma is a low-key belter of a game. Sure, it's a bit rough around the edges and never really got the attention it deserves, but those that have played it and gave it time know it's full of interesting mechanics and has really satisfying combat. I wasn't expecting it to ever get a sequel, so this one's really exciting to me, especially so as it's coming out at a time when Capcom are on a roll putting out back-to-back quality games. It feels like the stars could well align on this one. There's currently no demo or release date for it, but the masterwork's all, you can't go wrong.
doth not release thee from thy fate.
So what in the Hideo Kojima is this? I really like the look of Pragmata. They first showed it a few years ago and it looks like something Kojima would make to me. This one announced a delay actually in the trailer itself, which was quite funny. They got the little girl to draw a note saying sorry it's delayed. But yeah, this is one I'm going to be patiently waiting to see more of. I think it could turn out great. There's no demo and obviously no release date.
Up you go! Sorry, kiddo. We still got a ways to go.
And that's going to do it. I've obviously missed out a load of stuff here. What were games that you like the look of? Let me know in the comments below. What a couple of weeks of gaming announcements though. This year had so much good stuff on show and it's crazy the number of amazing games that are coming out pretty consistently at the moment. From indie to double and AAA and across all genres and platforms, it's a really exciting time to be playing games. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you've made it all the way to the end and are still here listening to me wittering on, good on you, it really means a lot. Thanks for watching and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Cheers.
Thank you to all gamers all around the world.